All right. So today we're going to talk about selling and buying at the same time and things that you have to consider. So most of our deals right now, most of our listings are where the sellers are going to end up purchasing. And they might be purchasing in state, they might be purchasing out of state. So, we have our referral partners all over the US. And, um, it's nice to be able to work together and kind of time things correctly. But there's a couple things that we have to consider, right? So, a lot of times, the way that it usually happens is they see a house that they love wherever they are. And a lot of, the recent ones have been kind of out of state. So we'll get a phone call from one of our partners in another state, and they're like, "Hey, Vincent, I've got this seller in New York. They need to sell because they saw a place in, I'll just use an example, Florida, right? It's usually Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Texas. Like those are the states where all of our sellers are going to. So I get a call from the agent. The agent's like, "Hey, Vincent, I've got a seller in New York. They need to sell because they found a place that they love in Florida." Okay. And, so then we help them through that. And it becomes a timing issue. It becomes a way to free up their funds so that they could go out there and use that for the down payment for their new place. So, you could always take a look at, refinancing or bridge loans, but most of the time they don't want to own the two homes and they're just looking to sell. And my advice to the sellers is, listen, you don't want to be a contingent sale. Okay, you don't want to purchase contingent on the sale of your property, because sometimes what happens is, in order to get the seller of the house that you want to purchase to accept your offer, you're usually going to have to overpay for that property to get them to wait for you to sell your property, or to risk waiting for you to sell your property, right? And then on the flip side, when you're selling your property and you're on the hook to buy the next property, if you get offers, you might be more motivated to accept something that may be a little less than market value just to get the deal done, right? And you don't want to be put in that situation. So when you're looking to sell and buy, it's important to put the house on the market first, right? Put the house on the market first. And I always think it's very important to work with an agent who knows or is the same agent that's working on your purchase, so they can manage the timing, because that's really the stressful part of the sale and the purchase is, to make sure that you're not homeless and that your family's not homeless along the way. Okay. We can always have the attorneys kind of work out post close occupancy and, potentially a lease back or something like that, so that you could stay in the place and not have to worry about, uh, you know, not closing on your other property. A lot of times I would say the sellers are in control, right? So if I have a listing and my sellers need to wait for their home to be built in Florida, we'll put that into the contract, or we'll set up some sort of post close occupancy or some sort of lease back to make sure that they're not homeless. And it happens all the time. You just need to make sure that you're working with professional, and they'll guide you through every step of the way. Okay. Like, people don't move like every year, right? People that own homes, they don't move every year. It's usually 5 to 7 years. So it's not something that is they're very familiar with. But we real estate agents, we manage this stuff all the time. All right. So go out there, find a realtor that you trust, and make sure they guide you through from beginning to end, selling and buying at the same time. All right. That's it for me. Have a good weekend.